It doesn't always pay to be the loudest in your class, and just because a car's new doesn't mean it immediately has to be the most expensive or the fastest, the biggest or the cheapest in its class. At least that's what Vauxhall would have us believe when it comes to the launch of this, the new Astra Coupe, their new entry into the ever-burgeoning lifestyle-led coupe market. If you approach it stealthily and catch it by surprise, particularly at the rear, there's something of the glamorous Volvo C70 coupe about it. I don't know what, it might be to do with the way the rear pillars meet up with the bodywork or perhaps the shape of the glass, but it does. And that's a good thing because Vauxhall are positioning their new coupe right in the middle of the market, so it's neither a big glamorous coupe nor a pocket rocket like the Ford Puma. Don't let the rather conservatively designed exterior fool you, because inside they just go crazy. There's a huge range of options to choose from. If you go for leather, you can pick from 3 different colours, or you can even have this, let's say, striking is the best way to put it, Alcantara and leather mix. Then you can specify the colour of the centre console. You can have this finish or a kind of bronzy one. Then there's your dials, black or white. Then there's surrounds on the dials. They can be aluminium or chrome. And there's all the bells and whistles in here too. We have all the toys we need to keep us entertained on a long journey. So we've got a CD player as standard, air conditioning, of course. And as a rather expensive optional extra, this full colour screened interactive satellite navigation system. There's certainly no shortage of kit in here. And once you've specified it up to the way you want it, it will probably be more or less unlike any other you meet. There'll be 3 trim levels for the UK, with the top spec reserved for the 2-litre turbo. And good news, it comes ready boy race it up for you, with a special big chromy tailpipe adornment and, believe it or not, coloured brake calipers, as well as meaty 17-inch alloy wheels. It must have been very tempting for the designers just to take the ordinary Astra Sports chassis and bung a nice slopey coupe body on it. But bless them, they didn't. They worked a bit harder than that. So they've modified the suspension quite a lot. We've got firmer springs and increased damper rates, whatever that is. We've also got a lot lower car, so what you get is a much more coupe-like ride and drive. Every panel of the coupe is entirely new. The design comes courtesy of collaboration with Italian styling house Bertoni, in whose factory the car will be built. Ah, yes, oily bits. Well, you get a choice of 3 engines. It starts with a 1.8 litre. There's this, which is a 2.2 all aluminium, completely new engine, which is actually very, very strong. It's got huge mid-range. All the power seems to be up to and around 3 to 4 to 5,000 revs, which is great for punting it between corners. Then there is the top fire-breathing 2-litre turbo with about 190 odd brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in something like 6.7 seconds and a top speed of 149. Quite fast. The frameless doors, a real coupe styling cue, were considered a must-have by the suits in charge, and it may not have been easy to achieve. It's always rather difficult getting pillarless doors to seal properly, but it looks proper and it makes things easier when the cabriolet comes along, which it will. You know, I think they're right not to try and set the world on fire with their new coupe. If you want to be glamorous, buy a Fiat coupe. If you want to zap around town at high speed, buy a Ford Puma. If you want to be très élégant and chase the sun in the south of France, buy a Peugeot 406 coupe. But for punters looking for a good, solidly built, probably very reliable and certainly very handsome coupe from a big brand manufacturer for between 16 and 20 grand, I reckon Vauxhall have just about got it sorted.